I'm back.
is.
I've never done this on a laptop before, and it told me to push a button. And that was a mistake. So I thought,
Okay. You never know. You never know. It's great when it works. That's my secret of adulthood. Technology. It's great when it works. Anyway, Vicky, I'm so excited to be talking to you. I have been a friend of yours for a very long time. Vicky is an eminent journalist. She is an investigative journalist and best-selling author whose work examines big figures, institutions at the center of power, culture, and finance. She has written for Vanity Fair. She is a correspondent for CNN. Vicky, she has a Substack here. Vicky Ward Investigates. So, Vicky, I'm so excited to be talking to you today about Secrets of Adulthood.
it's wonderful to talk to you, Gretchen. And I will say it's wonderful to completely leave my Epstein Manzoni zone and come out of myself.
Right, because those are the two subjects that you're writing on now. And there's a lot of news.
Yes, there is a lot of news, and as much as it fuels my adrenaline, and as much as it interests me, it also can be overwhelming, and even I get sick of talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, on the one hand, I understand the public service element of it. On the other hand, it's a really horrible story to and I have been involved with it for nearly 25 years, and to have to keep rehashing it, part of me just wants some fresh air. So I'm delighted to be doing this with you.
So now we're talking about something very different, and maybe you have a secret of adulthood related to that. But so secret of adulthood, I love secrets of adulthood, and these are the lessons that we learn as we go through life with time and experience, usually hard experience. We often learn secrets of adulthood the hard way. One of my favorite traditional proverbs is "a stumble may prevent a fall," because sometimes that's how we learn secrets of adulthood. So I asked you if you had a couple secrets of adulthood to share, and your first one was your friends are your family too. So explain how you came to that and what that means.
So 2 things happened last year that were fairly momentous in my life. One was that my mum died. She'd been very, very ill. She'd had dementia for many, many years. But, she finally
sorry.
last summer. And in the fall, my 18-year-old goddaughter, with whom I was very close, also suddenly, completely out of the blue, had a pulmonary embolism and died. And what I learnt from both of those experiences really was the importance of friendship. Because when my mum passed away, my father he's a very, very good bridge player. They were a very social couple, but he has, kept up a huge number of friendships in the little village he lives in England. And so you could see at the service that we had, I mean, I think 250 people came. And you can, when I talk to him, we talk every week, we do a family Zoom. You see how the importance of friends in his life, the support network it provides him, keeps him going. It keeps him curious. It keeps him young. And that has, I've really taken note of that. My father is really with it. And I think it's because, and he's got friends from all sort of different walks of life, different ages, and it just keeps him engaged with the world. When my goddaughter died, I'm very, very close with her parents. And that introduced to each other. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
I didn't know that. Okay.
And I was very close to my goddaughter. One of the things, I think this, Gretchen, because you're friends with them too, is that they created so my goddaughter was in the hospital for 2 weeks because we didn't know she might wake up. I mean, in the end, she didn't wake up. But they created this thing called a caring bridge where, and like me, they were, well, the husband was born in England, but they're sort of transatlantic. They live in America with British roots. And what they found on that caring bridge, and while my goddaughter was in the hospital, they would take turns, each of the family, writing a post
Let
on.
me interrupt just to explain
Yeah.
what Caring Bridge is to people who aren't familiar with it. So Caring Bridge is a platform that allows people, typically people who have somebody who's very sick, is one of the main uses of it, where you can post something. And this is really useful because this way you can notify a bunch of people who might want to be texting you or calling you, but they don't know if they can. It's like, how do you disseminate information to all the loving people who want to know what's going on, but you can't manage that incoming? And
Right.
so it's kind of like having a private blog that you don't have to set up, but people can comment. So you can post it, and then you get, like, I signed up for the Caring Bridge, and so I would get a notification like there'd been an update. So every day I could go on and see, and they took turns, and her brothers and sisters wrote, that you got such a sense of the family, of
Yes.
her from this. It's a really wonderful resource. It's one of the good examples of how technology has a lot of downsides, but it also has a lot of things that are very powerful. And I think Caring Bridge allowed a lot of people to really understand what everybody was going through, and
Yes.
really understand her, maybe in a way that I did not know her. I mean, you were her
Right.
godmother. I didn't know her, but I can't. Through the whole experience, I really got a sense of what, of her personality, through Caring Bridge. So continue.
Well,
That
and I
was just a PSA
yeah,
for people who don't know about Caring Bridge.
but I think that, and what it gave them was
Yes.
a sense of community, and they were blown away by how many people, both sides of the Atlantic, leapt on to the caring bridge. They had no idea um, that their story, Xanthi's story. I mean, Xanthi was 18, but it was really the love and support for this family. And it's really been one of the, I mean, they're dealing obviously with, in the early stages of grief right now. But the sense of that vast support network has been extraordinarily important, and will and continues to be this sense that you're not alone. And I also think, I've been thinking about this, you and I are similar ages and our kids are kind of adults now. And I think that what happens when your children do become adults and when they graduate college and begin their own lives is that our identities change a bit. And there's now, and our time, how we spend our time changes a bit. And there is now room in our lives for friendships where perhaps, while we were busy trying to do it all and get and have dinner with the kids, and we couldn't. And what I have found is that through my old close friends, but also making new friends, my horizons have been broadened, actually. And I also think that given, the emphasis on longevity right now, we're all living longer. An investment in friendships is kind of really critical because
Mhm.
God willing, we could be going and doing things and, for another 30, 40 years. And we want, people around us um, are going to be very formative, I think. I think more.
Well, and I think it's something that's interesting, thinking about building a family of friends separate from your family of family. One of the things the research shows is that we really don't view friends and family the same. And one of the things about friends is that these are optional. We choose our friends. There's a lot of obligation with family. Now, that's one of the beautiful things about family, which is sort of like You get what you get, and that's your family. And there's, like there's something special to that. But there's also a special quality to friendships where these are really, you have the feeling that these people want to be with you. And so that's a great secret of adulthood to think uh, about both of these, the friends and yeah. In my empty nest book, one of the things I'm going to talk about is how it is we can turn a lot of time and energy toward our friendship. Also interesting, um, people often get closer with their siblings,
Yes.
which is I think is fascinating. Okay, but your second secret of adulthood, which is also really good. If a project scares you, you should probably do it. Okay, say more.
So, this is, I'm naturally an anxious person. And I'm always, and because I'm a journalist, I'm on deadline. And so sometimes,
Scrutiny and being scrutinized for
yeah.
accuracy. Yep.
So sometimes if, so I'll give you an example. I've just been invited to go to Norway to speak at the annual Norwegian Investigative Journalists Organization. And I'm not being paid to do it, but they are going to pay me to go. My natural instinct was to say, oh, absolutely not. And then and then I was
Why?
like, because I'm thinking of deadline, I haven't got
Oh,
time. This is sort of out of my normal milieu. I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's a few days, uh,
there's a
you know,
lot of logistics.
I have to pack a bag. And then I thought, come on, you have one life and you should do it precisely because it does take you out of your comfort zone. And then it made me think that, sometimes as we get older, we say no to things because with our experience and our age, we know how exhausting they might be. We're wiser about the scale of the challenge. And therefore, if common sense might tell us not to do something because it's just going to be too hard. And actually, I think we should fight against that instinct because otherwise we may as well pack up now and say goodbye to life. And the
Well,
only way to keep going is actually to push yourself to actually take this, in a weird way, take more risks than we did when we were younger, precisely because, our kids are gone. What do you have to lose if it all goes wrong at this point? It's kind of being 20 again.
well, oh, that's interesting, right? Everything loops around. Okay, so this reminds me of one of my secrets of adulthood, which is the opposite of a profound truth is also true. Because I think that your secret of adulthood is excellent, but I've heard other people say the secret of adulthood, which is something like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yes.
Or like if I like somebody was saying like I when I am this is my father-in-law's rule, like if I'm trying to imagine, like if I'm invited to do something and I have to decide and it's like 6 months away, well then I'm always say yes because it's 6 months away, but then I'm sorry that I signed up for it when the day comes. So always imagine if it was happening tomorrow, would you say yes? But I think that both of these, only say yes if you'd be happy to do it tomorrow, and if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. They encourage people maybe to be too conservative, like you say, and to overweight like the logistics and the uncertainty. Whereas you're right, it's with novelty and challenge and kind of unexpectedness
Yes.
that also gives us a sense of growth. So I think that both are true.
Yeah, and actually, using that exact example, if this Norwegian thing was tomorrow, I would have said yes. It's more because it's like 2 months away and I'm like,
Uh,
it's actually because I'm bad
ah,
at time management. So
yes.
so I think actually, I'm very glad you said
Okay.
that. I feel better about it.
Okay. Here's my other secret of adulthood. Scheduling is life. I thought of this one after the book Secrets of Adulthood came out, so it's not in it. But I love the Secret of Adulthood because what I realize is the thing that really stops me from doing a lot of things is scheduling. It's just like, ugh, I have to find a date. You have to find a date. We live in New York City. Everything gets bumped at least once. How am I going to get there? Oh, okay. If I have to be someplace after, how do I dress for both things? Like, just scheduling makes everything hard. But so I was always thinking to myself, scheduling is so hard. It drags me down. How do I get out of it? If only I could avoid scheduling. And then it hit me. Scheduling is life. My life is my schedule. If I want my life to include anything, my friends, my family, my siblings, my trip to Norway, it has to go on the schedule.
Yeah.
And so I have to embrace scheduling is life.
Well, I mean, you must. I mean, you do this. You think really hard about these things. I'm going to say something really obvious, but I mean, I have probably very late in life discovered the importance of to-do lists.
Okay.
That
All right.
otherwise, if
Okay.
I don't have a to-do list, I'll be looking out the window. I'll be reading the New York Times 5 times. You know, I'll be, whatever it is I'm doing. That the To focus, I have to have a checklist every morning.
Well, that kind of surprises me because I would think as a journalist, like that would be have been a really important tool. Were you just able to keep it all in your head?
Well, but it's managing. What I find now is that, like I'm doing so many things at the same time, right?
Yes.
And,
Yeah. It's
uh,
not like
you know,
back in the day, you like
yeah,
wrote
it
a
was like,
Vanity Fair piece and
yeah,
now you're doing TV and Substack and I'm sure podcast interviews and
yeah, I find, yes, so my life is more complicated, and so
Mhm.
the only way to manage that is literally, yeah, it'd be easy if it was like, "Today, sit down and write a chapter," but it's,
Right.
"Today, sit down and write a chapter and figure out next week's Substack," and, whatever, there are a lot of things that go into it,
Get a
and
converter for Norway.
thank you.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, anything but it's funny because some people love a to-do list and some people cannot use a to-do list. And like in my 4 tendencies framework, rebels often don't like a to-do list. And that's a good example of another one of my secrets of adulthood. Like once I get started, I will literally go forever, which is that no tool fits every hand. And some people are like, everybody has to use a to-do list. Everybody has to meditate.
Mm,
Everybody should get up at 5:30 in the morning and exercise. And it's just like nothing is true for everybody.
yeah,
It's just you have to find the way that works for you. And as you point out, sometimes the tools that you need evolve over time. And you have to be flexible enough to say, well, maybe I remember switching from a Filofax to a digital calendar. It was so hard for me because I love my Filofax so much. But there's just too many advantages to a digital calendar. I
yeah,
had to adapt, even though I loved everything about a Filofax.
yeah. No, it's really true, and, one of my closest friends is an amazing person, amazing public thought leader and journalist, and she also runs an academic institution. She has more energy than anyone else I know, and I remember, so last week, one day I think she was in Switzerland, and then she phoned me up and said, could I do a Zoom talk about Jeffrey Epstein to a bunch of her students? And she said, great, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm just getting on a plane. And I said, where are you? Riyadh. So basically, in the space of 1 week, I think she had also been in the US as well. I mean, and it was breezy, as if you know,
No problem.
no problem. I mean, I would be completely.
Flattened.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think understanding that we all have different amounts of energy, and that what's easy for her would be a nightmare for me
Right.
is fairly important.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent. Well, Vicky, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you. Everybody sign up for Vicky's Substack, Vicky Ward Investigates, and also my Substack, Secrets of Adulthood, where I talk about secrets of adulthood. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
And you. Thank you, Gretchen.
Bye.